Page 2, there's no business like show business. This piece is, you'll find all kinds of recordings of this piece. Have a ball with it. Sing it if you want to. Typically, I kind of feel it in cut time. It's in 4/4 here, but I feel more like 2 pulses per measure. I just feel like a 1, 2, 1. It's like each half note in the left hand is a beat. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's how I feel it. They have it here written in 4/4 time. That would be 4 pulses per measure, and each half note would get 2 counts. So it would be like 1, 2, 2. And when we play it, we're going to play it a little slower than that, but that's how they've written it. But if you want to, after you learn it the way it's written, then you want to adjust it a little, it's fine. It's an arrangement. Rearrange it, improvise, have fun with it. But learn it the way it's written first. Try and be exact with how you're doing this. I want to talk about a few things and recommend a few things here. I'm going to start with the right hand. And we'll start at the beginning. You see the fingering there? They want the 2 on the G and then the 1, 5 on that. My problem with that is that then the next note, the quarter note, the C, the middle C, they want the thumb on that. Well, you're already using your thumb. How do you go from here to here and keep it all connected and smooth? I don't agree. So I would recommend for the G, the pickup note G, use 3rd finger. And then for the EC there, instead of a 1, 5, use a 2, 5. Now you can use the thumb on the middle C. So it works very well, I think. The 3rd line down on page 2. Now you see the little boxes at the beginning of each line. Those are measure numbers. I'm going to use those to call out these measures if I can. And if it's a measure over not in the beginning of the line, you'll have to count it over from that number. So if I say measure 11, you go down to where measure 9 is and you count 9, 10, 11, it'd be the 3rd measure over, something like that. So, let's try that again. On page 2, I'm starting with measure 9 in the right hand. Notice the fingering. You have a B. You're just going to go right up the scale, more or less. It's a C scale, but it's a different fingering. 4, 1 on the F. And then here, melody is the top note. Connect that. We want to hear that. Regardless of what other notes we're playing, we want to hear that. So make sure that's all connected. Takes a little practice. This happens several places, but once you get it, you'll be okay. Duh. Page 3, measure 20. Be aware you have a 1, 5 on the EC. You need a 2 on that A, because the 3 is on the A, so just make sure you move the 2 up and get it. And then measure 21, the G half note, that's only for the first 2 counts. Don't hold it down the whole measure. And then 22, F sharp, put the thumb on the F sharp, hold the D down, and then when you play the B, lift both of those notes up. So the B's by itself. And measure 23, that is an F natural, right? Because the F sharp in the measure before only applied to that measure. So this is an F natural. Measure 24. Again, I recommend instead of a 2, 3 on the F G, I recommend a 1, 3 here. Now, you have a 1, 2 on the FA, holding over from the previous measure, but we're between phrases, so you can lift up and a little bit of silence there. So go ahead and use a 1, 3 here. That gives you that silence. That way in measure 25, use 2, 5. It's like at the beginning. And then a 1 on the C. Measure 30. You have a 1 on the C, held over for the measure before, and then a 2 on the C, and then a 1, 2 on the B flat C. I would recommend for the CA, the whole note, that you do a 2, 5. because your 2's already there. This is a little awkward. Going from here to here. It's easier to go from here to here. And so that's what I'd recommend. Page 4, right hand, measure 37. You're starting the measure here, F sharp D. And then the D, and they have a 1-4 because the finger that's on it is a 3. The tendency is to play a 1-3. Don't. Play a 1-4 because you need your third finger for the A. Now in measure 39, it's a 1-5. They're saying 1-2-4. That's fine. Good fingering. If you happen to do a 1-2-3 instead, don't worry about it. It's better with 1-2-4, but whichever works for you is fine. I wouldn't worry about it. For the left hand, measure 9, you have the GF. Then in measure 10, it's the second finger on the D. And then a G, and then second finger on the C on measure 11. And you're back. I mean, that's what's written. I didn't change anything. I just pointing it out. On measure 24, you're holding a GC over from the previous measure with a 4-1. And again, we're between a phrase here. It doesn't, of course, in the left hand doesn't matter. And then a 1 on the G and a 2 on the C. Again, that's what's written. I didn't change anything. I'm just pointing it out. However, on measure 29, again, it's a thumb on the C. Because you've been using second finger on C. Now you got to have thumb because you're going to go all the way down to the F. And then the last measure on page 3, they're saying a third finger on the F. The idea is to put you in position for what's coming on page 4. However, this, from a 5 to a 3, is really unnecessary. I would recommend you go, the measure before is a whole note F. That's a little finger. Okay. And then for the last measure F, I suggest you do a 1. It's an octave. And then contract the hand. And then use 4. And that puts you back in the position you were in. On page 4, it's measure 35. You have a dotted half note B flat is a 2. And then the A is a 3. You're carrying that A over into measure 36. However, I suggest you do a finger substitution here on that A and put your thumb on it. That puts you in position to do the A flat in the next measure and then fourth finger. I played through this a few times and I think this fingering works better, especially at a faster speed. It's smoother, everything's, you don't have to look down once you feel where things are. Okay. Now, if you choose on measure 37, instead of third finger to use second, that's okay. And put third finger on the G, that's okay. Not a problem. However, when you get to measure 39, you do need the second finger on the G. You get that again on measure 44. You're playing the A held over from before third finger. I recommend substituting the thumb. There, right, don't play it again, substitute it. And then if you want to use second finger or third finger, either one on the A flat, doesn't matter. In the second ending, you're starting in the left hand, the C, B, A, cross the thumb under for the G, and they're saying fifth finger on C. Fifth is fine, because then you got to go down another octave for that one. You have a 2-beat rest. However, you don't have to move as far if you put your third finger on it here. This piece is in C major, no sharps or flats except for whatever accidentals they stick in. It is fairly quick once you get it going. And again, all the same rules apply. I've been harping at you. Bring out the melody, watch the phrasing. We want a little bit of silence between the phrasing, and that's, we're talking right hand here because the left hand doesn't show any phrasing. Now when we play this together, we're going to go fairly slow, and what I'm going to do is play pages 2 and 3, and then we're going to stop. We're going to turn the page, and then we're going to play page 4 together. Now, whenever you're performing it, you got to figure out a way to get that page turn in without messing up too much stuff. You just about have to use the pedal, and they're not using pedal here. But if you use the pedal on that last measure on page 3, hold the pedal down, and you can use the right hand then to reach up. While the left hand is playing that last measure, the right hand can go and turn the page real quick, and then hopefully you can do it. Without the pedal, you're going to lose some sound, which means the last measure on page 3 in the right hand will be rest. It'll be like a whole rest. You won't get anything. It'll be here, which is fine. The rest works. If that's what you can experiment on the page turn and see what you think. Let's try this together. 4/4 time with 2-beat pickup. So I will give us 2 counts and we'll start. So I'm going to start with 3rd finger on G because that's the fingering I suggested, and the left hand's here. Here we go. Ready, go. 2. Two. Stop. Turn the page. Give us 4 counts and we'll start. So right hand here, left hand. When we get to the bottom of page 4, I'm not taking the repeat. I'm going to do the second ending only. You can do the repeat on your own. 1, 2, ready, go.